Okay, well, here we are back again, and I'm going to continue taking you through this presentation on drama and tragedy and all that good stuff. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next slide here. So, the first tragedy that we're going to be looking at, according to our syllabus, we're going to be spending some time with Oedipus, the play written by Sophocles. What you're looking at here, this is a very dramatic representation of one of the famous scenes from the play Oedipus, which takes place during the catharsis of the play, which we've talked about. It's that moment when Oedipus literally blinds himself, literally and figuratively. Uh, he has just discovered that his wife has hung herself in their bedroom. He has to cut her body down, and he is so enraged and just so overcome with the grief of everything that has gone wrong in his life that he decides he does not want to see anymore because he cannot bear what his eyes see. So he literally rips the brooch from his wife's nightgown and takes those brooches and stabs them into his eyes so that he will no longer see. Yes, so um, this play is definitely quite the tragedy. I'm going to have to offer a little bit of summary just so, before you start to read the play, some things that you'll already be aware of. Yes, we may be dealing with a few spoilers, but I feel like it's more important for you to go into the play with both eyes open, no pun intended, and have some idea of kind of what you're getting into here. So, of course, with this being a tragedy, it's the story of a powerful individual's fall from grace. But in this case, it's because of a very bizarre string of circumstances, some of which Oedipus precipitates and some of which he has no control over because it's still a play about the role of fate in our lives. But it's the story of a man who literally, I've used that word quite a bit, haven't I? But yes, he kills his own father and marries his own mother, thus bringing about the curse upon his life, his kingdom, his leadership, everything, because we're talking about a great ancestral taboo here, laying with one's own mother. Now he does this unknowingly. He has no idea, just like he has no idea that he killed his own biological father. But he did. And these were all things that the prophecy foretold. And he spends a lifetime trying to outwit this prophecy. Well, let me back up a little bit, okay? So, when Oedipus is born, his parents are delivered of the prophecy. They are told, this child that you have welcomed into the world is going to be your undoing, because this child is going to grow up and he is going to be your killer, talking to the king, Laius. He is going to be your murderer, Laius. He is going to kill you. Now they're horrified enough at that. But the prophecy continues. And he will marry with his mother, Jocasta. Well, the couple, being horrified to hear of this, decide, well, this can't happen. We have to kill this child. It's not like they really have a choice, because the prophecies are believed to be true. So the only thing they know to do is to rid themselves of the child. So they instruct a herdsman. Now, if this sounds a little bit like the fairy tale Snow White, it kind of is, right? They hire a herdsman and tell him, take this child to the woods and kill it. Well, the problem is the herdsman doesn't follow the orders. He does partly. He takes the child into a faraway place, but he can't bring himself to kill the child. So he just leaves the baby abandoned there and hopes that, well, maybe, you know, maybe nature will kill it, maybe the animals will kill it, maybe somebody will come along and save it, but either way, it's off my hands. My part's done. So he leaves the child there. The child is still alive. As these stories go, a couple come along and they're like, oh, this helpless little baby, we must save him. So they take the child, they take him to their kingdom and to their household, where they proceed to raise him as if he were their own son. In fact, literally, he is their son, because they adopt him. And he is raised by this couple. Polyaps is his adopted father. I can't remember offhand the name of his adopted mother. It's not really going to be important for us right now. But he grows up in this household thinking that these are his biological parents. When Oedipus, and by the way, the name Oedipus means swollen foot, because when he was left abandoned in the woods, he was left with his feet tied and bound, and his feet, they were so swollen by the time that he was found, he could hardly walk. The name Oedipus means swollen foot in Greek, and that's the name that they give him, and it just sticks. Okay. But Oedipus, as he gets to be a young man, he hears of the tragedy. And he says, well, no, this is not going to happen. No way. I would never kill my father. I would never marry my mother. Ew, that's gross. You don't have anything to worry about. This prophecy is not going to come true. Nevertheless, he's so concerned about the possibility that he decides, well, I will protect my parents by removing myself from their sight. I will remove myself from their household. I will remove the threat. So he thinks that by physically leaving the home and going to another place, that he can prevent this from happening. Well, he ends up in the city of his birth, which is Thebes. He solves the riddle of the Sphinx. You'll read all of that in the play. But it's this great brave thing that he does, solving the riddle of the Sphinx, because he ends the curse on Thebes at that point. The people are so grateful to him that they proclaim him their new king. Now, the old king has died in a tragic road accident. He was killed by another man. They haven't put two and two together yet to figure out who that is. But this means the newly widowed queen is Jocasta. She doesn't recognize her own son because she hasn't seen him since he was an infant. But now he has been proclaimed king,